Liam, the Manchester City-Burnley match was a big hope for Liverpool fans that somehow Burnley might get a draw. Trouble City. They were okay for 45 minutes, but in the end, they couldn't get out of their own half in the second. Once City came out for the second half, they upped it a gear as they had done at Old Trafford, and it was quite an impressive win in the end.
Yes, it was, Eamon. Yeah, they dealt with the situation very well. They're human beings, all those players. They're not going to feel perfect every time they go out. You can either have a bit of fatigue, or maybe you can have a bit of nervousness because it is so tight, and they know one mistake will cost them, or could cost them. So I thought they were a bit below par in the first half, but as you say, they stepped it up the second half, and they could have had 5-6 goals. Burnley, it was really last-ditch defending, but they got the goal. They deserved to win, and the 12 winning sequence, it's quite incredible. It's what the two teams have done, Liverpool and Manchester City, this season has been phenomenal.
Yeah, John, Burnley, good coach Sean Dyche. He's done a really great job there. And they're not sort of fodder, as it were, like you might say Cardiff and Huddersfield would be described as fodder. But Burnley had gone to Chelsea last Monday night, got a 2-2 draw, took the lead twice. They're not... this guy knows what he's doing. He's good, honest players. City just passed them to death over the period with City. I mean, as Liam said, they weren't great in the first half, City, and there was a little glimmer, and Burnley were mounting the occasional attack and were competing pretty well. But after half time, they got a hold of the ball, and it seemed that the Burnley players, as the game progressed, couldn't pick their legs up.
Well, it does happen, Eamon. Obviously, there's an old saying in football: when you have the ball, it's easy to run around.
Yeah.
When you haven't got it, it's much more difficult. I was disappointed with City in the first half.
Yeah, you told me we were talking during the game, and you said I think they're struggling here.
Well, they didn't. There was no urgency about them. I think you gave them a right rollick and a half time, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Because they came out with the team in second half, but they were lackadaisical. I was disappointed in them in the way that they approached the game in the first half. Second half, they were the City that we know that can do what they do, and they were very, very good and won well in the end. Because without that urgency, no matter how much ability you have, it's not going to happen.
No.
But once they got their game going and got in the second half, then as Liam said, they passed Burnley off the pitch and played really well and could have had more goals in the end. But I was disappointed in them in the first half. I know second half they made up for it, or if you call them making up for it. But when you're going for in such a tight competition as they are with Liverpool, I would expect them to come out of the blocks in the first half as they did in the second half. But in the end, it was a fairly comfortable win. And it shows you when the way they do pass the ball when they're playing well. Like Burnley are a competent team.
Yes,
as we know, they're a competent team. But in the end, they made them look like also-rans, really. And that City, when they're at their best, doing that. So, all's well that ends well for City. But, with only now 2 matches to go, I don't think you can afford to approach any of the next 2 matches in the way they did in the first half.
No, I mean, they've got Leicester at home and Brighton away. Brighton look like they're safe, but there's still an opportunity there for Cardiff, but it's a slim one. Liam, a team like Burnley would be well set up. The coach knows what he's doing. What was, I thought, remarkable and revealing about yesterday was the extent to which they were absolutely out on their feet after about an hour. They could not get out of their own half. And these are good players. They're honest, very honest players. They obviously defended well, but City just laid siege to their goal, and the goal was inevitable. It's surprising how much it takes out. Now, it's a warm day. They've got to run all the time. They'd be a very fit side, Burnley, but they would this is the City thing, that they have the patience and the players to crucify you in that situation.
Well, that's right. I mean, they just pass you to death, don't they? The best team in possession, there's no doubt about that. Where they have a weakness is maybe in defence, but if you have the ball, you don't concede any goals. And I think that's Guardiola's philosophy. And even against Manchester United in the middle of the week,
Yeah.
United are out on their feet. They're just so far ahead of the other team in possession that they're bound to tire. They're bound to tire, and not also tire, but also become despondent because they're never getting a touch of the ball.
Yeah.
So there could be an element of that as well. Certainly against Manchester United, it looked as if Pogba gave up. He knew they were well and truly beaten, and he turned it in. That's what can happen as well if you're so much chasing the ball and just doing the donkey work trying to get it back, and then when you get it back you can't keep it. It does bring an air of despondency around the team. But no, Burnley have had a very good season. They had a first half of the season where you thought, the bubble might be burst here. It might be that the standard of player they have is catching up with them. But now Dyche turned it around. He got them playing back to their strengths, and they've stayed up quite comfortably after a really, really good second half of the season.
Yeah.